Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round one of the online qualifiers for the Asia Pacific GT E-motorsport Championship in 2023. I am your commentator, Matt Solomon, and joining me in the booth today is Jasper Thong. Welcome, Jasper.
Hi there.
All right, so for this series, we have 3 qualifying rounds, and the top 12 from the qualifying rounds will enter the grand finals in Hong Kong on the 17th of December. We are at the Autodromo del Mugello in Italy. It is a sunny 18 degrees, partly cloudy. We've got qualifying coming up, which is 25 minutes, with a race right after that, which will be 30 minutes. So the drivers have an exciting sprint race ahead of them. All right, so our official equipment partner for the series is Camus, and the model on screen is the DDWB 50 nanometers with the LC100 pedals and the GT1 steering wheel. So looking now at the online qualifier entry list. Driving for Australia, we have Philippa Bukita, we've got Mia Rose, Marino Morella, and Lucas Burrs. As you see, cars on track now, finishing up their practice. And this sole entry from Bangladesh, we have Fahad Ghafoor. All right, and for Chinese Taipei, we've got Gary Lin, Heng Yu Huang, Chi Kai Wu, and Po Yu Ye. So a full team here from Chinese Taipei. Now looking over to Team Hong Kong, we've got Kyo Yim, Chris Tang, Chester Lam, and Cars Lee. We've also got Jay Wong in the booth. And Jay, what can you tell us about Team Hong Kong?
Well, Team Hong Kong comprised of basically 3 parties, really. Kyo Yim from Pui Racing, Chris Tang and Chester Lam from C Challenger Racing, and then Cars Lee are basically a free agent right now.
All right, fantastic. Well, now we go over to Team Indonesia with Andika Rama Malana, Moreno Pratama, Fatih Rahmat, and Muhammad Ifran.
And then Dika Ramamulana and Moreno Pratama are both like heavy hitters from Legion of Racers, one of the most prolific sim racing teams in Asia. So them being here is going to make a huge difference to the landscape.
Yeah, very, very exciting. Now we look over to Team Macau. We've got Sky Lai, Hei Leong, Jerry Khan, and Jason C. What about Team Macau?
One of the most on-point livery on the grid, I think. You can instantly spot the green colors. So you have the 3 McLarens, all from Raiden Esport Racing, with Skyline, who belongs to Pupu Racing.
Yeah, very, very livery that stands out, definitely. And now we look at Team Malaysia with Muhammad Afif bin Suhaimi. We've got Amir Haziq, Kamal Ali, and Nakib Aslan.
You can see the 2 BM-Z3 on the right. Nakib Aslan and Amir Haziq are both from Exo Sim Sport, a very high-profile sim and real racing team from Malaysia.
Yeah, one of my old teammates, Alex Young.
Yeah.
And we look at Team Philippines right now with Russell Reyes, Alexis Calpano, Francis Angelo Gonzalez, and Aldo Ray Balagulan.
Russell Reyes came into this competition with fire under his feet. He's really trying to win this, and he's really pushing the limit on that Audi.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to seeing him in the race. And now we head over to Team Singapore with Dylan Tan, Muhammad Thasbi, AR Muhammad Alif, and F Muhammad Jin Mazvi.
Dylan Tan is the fastest overall in the hot lap qualifying sessions, and he actually has beaten the grid by quite some margin.
Yeah, a bit of a young protege. And now we look at Thailand with the sole entry from Thanapon Wongthiri.
So last but not least, right? Really, to make it on this grid is a huge deal. Really, it's not easy to be from a country with less comparative sim racing background, I say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's great for him to qualify on the grid. And we look over to round 2, which is in just a week's time on the 8th of November. So that will be the second scoring round. And like I mentioned before, after the 3 rounds, the top 12 will qualify for the grand finals, which will be a live event held in Hong Kong on the 17th of December. It's very, very exciting.
Yep. So right now we're just waiting for the cars to come out from the grid slot for qualifying. Everyone is trying to make it to the pits for the last preparation. We have a 25 minutes of qualifying run, which will translate to about 2 runs, because the tires, we don't run tire warmers in this series, and you need quite a long time to bring them up to temperature, but they also don't have a very long sweet spot.
Yeah, and with that, who do you think, judging by obviously all these drivers have to qualify, hot lap qualifying in order to be on this grid, out of that group of drivers, who do you think is likely to kind of qualify up the front?
I think the obvious choice is Dylan, and then his teammate Andika Rama Malana, also Moreno Pratama, Muhammad Alif, Taspeed. They're all within the same ballpark, really. It's kind of like who is better on the day and who can actually find space in traffic, because we have 34 cars on this quite flowing track. There isn't a lot of space for car to go offline and then come back. So that's gonna be the huge problem for the next 25 minutes.
Yeah, we've seen some exciting action, and looking at this grid, it's a massive grid. 34 drivers in this sprint race. So there's gonna be some, a lot of action up and down the grid, which will be extremely exciting. We've also got a lot of Aussie drivers. A full grid of Aussie drivers, 4 cars. We've got Philippa Bakita, who's quick. We've also got Mia Rose and Luca Burrs. So yeah, expect some strong things from Team Australia as well. Could really be a mix of drivers up there.
Because Philippa Bakita actually she is like a pro in ACC. She is with BS competition, a European top level pro team. And this is her first hooray in the old Assetto Corsa platform. So the fact that she's right there up in pace just shows her quality. So we're now entering qualifying. We have 25 minutes of qualifying. The cars are trying to make it out of the grid.
Alright, so as we see cars coming out of the pits, we're on board with Team Hong Kong. Chris Tan, as they start their warm-up laps to get ready, get their tires in the zone. How long does it normally take these tires to come up to temperature?
It's quite interesting because this track has a lot of fast right-handers, so the left side tires will come up to temperature in maybe less than a lap, but the right side tire will take longer, so you have that imbalance in the grip. And also the brakes needs to be work quite hard because there's no major braking spin outside of turn 1.
Yeah, as you see, we're on board here with Chris Tan, pushing very hard on his outlet to get some temperature into his tires. You see, the car's moving around a fair bit. But also, with such a big grid with 34 drivers, it's going to be very important for these guys to find space on track and to really make sure that they're in position to start their hot laps.
You see a little guys trying to beat the traffic out of the pits, and then there are also some guys who's trying to hang back because the first lap is always going to be slow. So if you are on the out lap and then somebody's on the fast lap, all you can do is just move away.
Yeah, and I think especially with such a big grid, the first couple guys are going to be pushing quite hard. The guys further down the grid are going to be, maybe taking it a little bit easy to get that gap, and it's quite possible they end up, maybe catching the guys at the back. So yeah, the gap here in the spacing is going to be very important as we see them starting, their first flying laps.
So right now, Hong Kong drivers Kia Yim and Christian are leading the queue, and then we have Taspi, Molana, Hasik, Skylight, Foiling. The first lap is not going to be super hard because the tire needs to go up to temperature, but we are expecting the pole time to be somewhere in 43 range.
Yeah, as we saw in practice a little bit earlier before we went live on this broadcast, some of the drivers pushing very hard and getting into that 43 range. I believe Dylan Tan was one of the drivers that got quite close, and there are a few other drivers who are within a couple tenths. So it's going to be very, very exciting. It's going to be an intense battle for pole position. So yeah, stay tuned. We've got 22 minutes of qualifying to see who's going to be on pole for round 1 here in Mugello.
So right now you can see the car is on track. There's a lot of movement in the rear, you can see. The car is still trying to adjust to temperature and all that. And then because the asphalt is still quite green, so the track rubber will build up throughout the section and you'll see the time tumble.
Yeah, as you can see here, we're on board with Kyo Yim, the Ferrari from Team Hong Kong. So Jay, what kind of stint lengths are we expecting from this qualifying session?
I would say maybe 4 to 5 laps is a good stint. The tire will start to drop up around lap 5. And then I think the bigger problem is with tire heat. Because of the 2 long right-handers, the left front tires will kind of go over temperature in a 3rd or 4th lap.
Yeah, Mugello's famously known for its long sweeping corners. They host a lot of MotoGP races here, and so the corners are slightly different profile to maybe some of the other sort of classic GT tracks or sort of even kind of F1 tracks that you might drive. So it's going to be very challenging for a lot of these guys, and should be some interesting racing action.
Yeah, so Mohammed Tasbik has beaten Kyo Yim's lap, and then we have new leader Dylan Chen who just did a 44.1. So right out of the gate they're already pushing.
Yeah, as you can see, a lot of purple sectors now, especially the guys up the front. As we see Muhammad Ali for the 144.077, so the times are getting very close now to the 43 range. Who's going to be the first one to break it?
A big fish-tailing moment from Antigam Olan. So this lap might not be it, but he's going to be one of the favorites too.
As you see here with Milan, as we see the back stepping out just a little bit coming into that right-hander. As we looking now onto the live timing that we have, unfortunately you don't. We've got Muhammad Ali, who's just set a purple first sector with a 25.709. So very quick first sector.
But he's running into traffic. One of the Philippines car, I guess, is in front of him and is right in his way.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for him. He may have to kind of regroup and go for another lap. As we see Mohammed Tasbi, who's currently sitting in 3rd place with the purple second sector, and the first sector he set just before is only a 10th off the purple sector set by Mohammed Ali. So we might see a switch for the lead here.
Tasbi is going into the final corner, looks quite clean, using all the track at exit.
And let's see, as he comes up to the line now, is he going to go into the 143s? Yes. Oh, no.
No.
Not quite, with a 144.045. So it's getting very close here. Only less than a 10th separate the top 4.
It's actually quite interesting. We're watching a Leafs on board and he's just weaving a bit on the straight. Actually, he's lacking temperature in the front, I guess. It still looks like a good lap.
It does. He's only 600ths. He's backed off there in sector 3. So he's probably going for the next lap. As we go on board with Rahmat, currently sitting in 7th place, 3 tenths away from the lead. But the times are very, very close. If we look at sector times, there's nothing in it between the top guys.
So Muhammad Ali just did a purple first sector, winning just by less than 100th of a second. But here's, you can see on the lap, he was just washing out a bit on the S curves.
There's a slight bit of understeer in that car. Don't know if that's just characteristic of the AMG GT or if that's something that he's dialed into the setup. But he's got a decent sector 2 as well. He's 200s, almost 300s of a second quicker in the second sector as he comes up to a little bit of traffic, but he may be okay as he comes into sector 3. Like we saw on the last lap, he's going a little bit wide there, but he's sort of late V'ing that corner off, so he might still get a decent exit coming through the S's and heading now into the final section of the circuit. Alright, so he's managed that gap well. As you see, he's catching up to one of the Team Philippine cars, but he's managed that gap well, giving him a lot of space. as he might pick up a little slipstream here. Coming across the line now, Muhammad Ali. Is he going to do it? Yes, he does, with a 1:43.862, first driver to go into the 1:43. So that's a very, very fast lap time. So we've got Team Singapore in first and second right now with Alif and Tasbi. Team Hong Kong in third with Kyo Yim, Dylan Tan in P4.
And a driver who is just... Dylan Tan just did the purple first sector. We'll go on board with him. So this gonna be his attack lap.
Dylan looking very sharp here. The young driver with LOR, Legion of Racers.
Using all the tracks really. You can see using entry, using the exit, using a bit of grass even. It looks so super smooth.
Yeah, he's on it right now. A lot of expectations on this young driver from Singapore. I believe he's only 14 years old.
Yeah.
Alright, so he's gone through the second sector now, and he's slightly down on time, but still, if he comes across the line, he's done a green sector too. So he's actually done a personal best, but slightly slower than the purple time set by Muhammad Ali. But let's see if he can nail this last sector. He has a good chance of coming up to the first two rows here. First two rows, excuse me. He's at the second half of the second row, possibly onto the first row.
It's interesting, both Alif and Dylan Tan opt for a bit of under rotation at the entry so they can get a clean exit.
Dylan Tan there sneaks into the top two there with a 1:43.9, second driver to go into 1:43, so it's really heating up here at the front. Again, looking at the times, Muhammad Ali's set was incredibly fast at 1:43.8. Dylan Tan just the 10th back. And as we see, Sky Lai coming to P4 right now on a 1:44.0, so very, very close there between the top five.
As expected, Sky Lai and Kyo Yim is trying to fend off the Singaporeans and the Australian all together. But then Muhammad Tasbik has put up a lap that separated Kyo Yim in P3 and the Tasbik in P4.
Times are definitely tumbling now as we see Sky Lai go purple in Sector 1 on a 25.67 first sector. So the Team Macau driver, a stable name in the GT Esports series.
But he bailed out of this lap. I guess he made a small mistake and decided it's not worth it to continue.
Yeah, so he's gonna opt for his second run now. So as he coming out of the pits.
Another driver who has not found his best lap yet is Indikirama Mulana. He definitely has the pace to do it, but right now he is still 4/10 off, which is not what he would expect actually at this stage, because we only have 15 minutes left.
As we see there, the Indonesian driver Pratama coming into 8, 3.5 tenths off the lead. But it's very, very close here now between the top 10, even down to the top sort of 12 drivers, all separated by half a second. So very, very close. Going to be an exciting battle in the race.
Actually, there's a huge gap right now between the 13th and 14th. That is a very important place because the top 12 goes to Hong Kong. And if you want to be in the top 12, you got to stop somewhere near the top 15 to get points. And then the gap at that sort of mid-table is super close right now.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see who, with such a big grid, not that we ever want to see any accidents, but it's, with so many cars barreling into the turn one here, there's going to be a Constantina effect of cars bunching up as they all break down into turn one. So it's going to be very interesting to see at the start of the race how the drivers kind of pick their positions and how that all sort of unfolds.
So Muhammad Ali had done a personal best sector 2, but his overall lap isn't quicker. But then Kyo Yim has done another 43 lap and then pushed Dylan Tan to P3. That was quite impressive from a Hong Kong driver.
Yeah, very, very strong lap there from Kyo Yim, who's now back in the pits. So 3 drivers now in the 1:43s. We're going to see anyone slip into that as well as we come into 12 minutes left of qualifying. Half of it done, half of it to go. let's see if any drivers can kind of pull out all the stops and finish on a high. As we go on board with Aussie driver Mia Rose.
I think Mia Rose is another driver who had not been on the old Assetto Corsa platform for a lot. Her main focus is on iRacing and Assetto Corsa Competizione. So this is a new challenge for her, both in terms of car and the track.
Jay, how you're very experienced in sim racing. How different is it for a driver coming in from something like iRacing, like Assetto Corsa Competizione, into the older iRacing platform? Assetto Corsa platform.
The older platform, the main difference is the suspension physics is quite rudimentary compared to modern platforms. So the tires will go through quite a drastic changes through the course, and you have to kind of ride on top of it. It's very different from ACC, which is quite clinical and then quite precise, but then very limited by the front end. In AC, you can go wildly out of shape, out of corners, and even in the middle of turns if the tire temperature is not right.
Yeah, very interesting. And obviously, in the real world, let's say, a lot of drivers, they may struggle going from one car to another or different tire series. And I guess in here, you get used to a certain platform that you race on, and jumping into a series like this where everyone is so competitive, and especially looking now at the top 13, so competitive. It's going to be very important to kind of really get those laps in. The drivers have 1 week before, when we announce the new tracks for the next race, to really see, kind of to get their eye in, to get a feel for it. So a lot of testing has to be done during that week to, if they want to be competitive.
Yeah, that's where teamwork comes in. Like teams like L out there, 3 to 4 drivers in the competition, so they can share data, they can share the telemetry, and get the speed real quick. And then Enrico Milana actually was on a pretty good lap, but then he ran into traffic, and then that's why he has to abandon it again. So he now only has like 10 minutes to complete his ideal lap.
Yeah, he ran slightly wide there coming out of the last corner, just dropped a wheel onto the grass and lost him a little bit of time, so he decided to abort and go for another run. As we are on board with a gaggle of cars now, with Team Philippines and Team Malaysia working their way through some traffic. Po Yu is the driver from Chinese Taipei driver, who is who's letting some of these cars pass who may be on a flying lap. Yeah,
when you are a bit off pace, it gets more difficult because you have to keep watching a mirror, which is something you don't want to do on the whole lap.
No, exactly, and especially with such a big grid, and so many cars really on a push lap, you don't want to get in anyone's way, and so you really have to be looking and have good, spatial awareness as to who's around you.
Akib Aslan has done 2 personal bests, and then this could mean an improvement. Yes, he made up 1 spot in front of ND Karama Milana, so Milana is gonna be quite desperate right now.
Yeah, it's all very, very close now. Being in that 12th spot, Milana is going to be feeling the heat, especially when there are... Ooh, and as you see, Rakhmat just gone into P12. So yeah, going back to that thing about Milana, he's going to be really feeling the heat, given that there are probably at least 14 or 15 drivers that could all fight for that top 12 qualifying spot.
Yep, and the outside of top 10 is where you find the most traffic at the race start. You gotta watch your back and you gotta watch your front. That's when all the things kicks off. So you really don't want to start at the position.
No, exactly. That middle part of the field is going to be a very, very tricky place to start. But if we look here at P11, as we see on the live timing, Nakib Aslan has just gone and done a personal best sector 1. There's not a lot of drivers out there setting personal bests. A lot of maybe the track heating up, tires heating up, and not necessarily going any quicker right now.
Yep, so right now people are kind of like cycling through the pit stops and then try to do a new set of tires. There's still time though. There's still about time for 3 to 4 whole laps, I guess.
Yeah, there's still 8 minutes of qualifying left. If you just joined us, welcome to the broadcast. We are here for the first round of the online qualifiers for the Asian Championship.
Let's try that again. Asia Pacific GT E-motorsport Championship 2023.
That's exactly what I said.
You're welcome. So Aslan is one of the drivers who is still kicking on that old set of tires. He bailed out of last lap, And then I think it's going to be his second step on this set of tires. You're seeing a lot of wheel spin out of turn 2. The car looks quite stable in the transition, but then he overstepped a bit on exit.
And that's a little bit wide there from Nikit Aslan.
And you see a yellow personal sector, but overall it's not actually that bad because his personal best is quite close to the overall best time. We stay with him for a bit and see how the set 4 handles this. Oh, big off.
Commentator's curse there, Jay.
That happens a lot when I'm here.
Alright, so Nikit Aslan back in the pits now, opting to go for another run as we go on board Chester Lamb here in the Lamborghini.
He has the headlights on, that means he's on a real flying lap, I guess.
Yeah, showing to the drivers around him telling them to get out of his way.
Yeah, when you have a big red Lambo, you really don't have to do that.
Imagine that. Yeah, I can imagine
that.
that looked pretty scary in the mirrors.
So he's coming on the finishing line. Is that an improvement? Yes. Put in 15. Smack bang in the middle of the field.
Yeah, good lap. Personal best lap. All green sectors as we look to P13 Fadli Rahmat, who is got 2 personal best sectors, as we are on board with Russell Reyes in the Team Philippines car with a personal best sector 1. Hasn't improved in sector 2, but let's see if he can string together a good sector 3 and finish off strong.
Sometimes you can actually pull back a bit in sector 2 in the fast flowing sweepers, so you get more tire grip in the last corner, but he ran off a bit here. Because that chicane is quite tricky. You want to go flat, but there's only one line where that's possible.
Yeah, might be worth sacrificing a little bit of speed going in just to make sure you nail that exit. Just to kind of tie all your sectors together and make sure you finish off strong.
It's actually quite interesting that Kyo Yim is not going out from the pit to do another session. So I think he has found his personal best lap already. He's just chilling right now.
Yeah, he's just probably having a drink, getting ready for the race, getting his head into the right mindset for the race starting on that front row. Hopefully, as we see Dylan Tan right now with a overall best sector 1. So Dylan Tan is pushing.
So we're gonna go on board with him. How is it at sector 2? Usually he's using all the grass in the inside. Wow, look at that. Yeah. He's a bit wide. He's wide. He's really wide.
It may have just cost him a fair bit of time there. You can see he's really pushing, really trying to get onto that front row. As you see a yellow sector 2, meaning that he's gone slower.
So Andika Ramamulana has done a personal best and absolute best sector 1.
As we go on board with him in the AMG GT3.
Right in front of him is his major rival Muhammad Ali. So he got his target right in his sight.
Definitely, he's going to be seeing red right now, both in the red car and being his major rival. So he's going to be pushing very hard. Going to try and get onto the first 2 rows here. Very close. He's only about half a tenth away from being onto that first 2 rows. So looking good at the moment. He hasn't gone quicker in the second sector. He's gone purple in the first sector. But let's see. Like you said, if he keeps sort of holds back a little bit in sector 2, but nails sector 3, he still has a chance of. As you see someone off, that is Alif off in front of him.
Even just make it to row 2 is going to be a huge difference to him in the race. But then someone in front of him has gone wide, but it doesn't affect his exit. But he that's it.
Aborts the lap. And that's probably going to be over for Milana there with 3 minutes left on the clock. Let's see if there's anyone else who's on a hot lap. Right now, there's not a lot of people setting personal bests. A lot of people on very fast runs, as we saw Dylan Tan there, as well as Indika Milana. But small mistakes costing these drivers, and you can see that's how hard these guys are pushing. That's how close it is between all these drivers. Yeah,
the top 5 separate less than 2 tenths. Basically nothing. It's quite a long lap as a 100 seconds lap. It's quite long for standard. and with less than 5/10 separating the top 13. That's really
incredible.
packed. Yeah.
I mean, as you can see, the level of driving has just taken up a notch in that last 8 minutes of qualifying. All the top 12 drivers now are within 3/10, within 4/10, whereas they were about half a second separating them before.
Yeah, but we also have to give credit to the guys that are only 2.5 seconds from the absolute best. Gary Lin from Chinese Taipei, I think it's his first foray into international competition. I think he's holding his own. If you are 2.5 off from the pro drivers in real life, you could be really happy.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's doing a great job all up and down the field. Let's see how. Let's see. Hopefully, these guys can make up a few places in the race and get within sort of striking distance of that qualifying spot. As we see there, Gary Lin just going a little bit wide, a lot wide.
A lot wide.
So that might be his qualifying over as well.
Yeah, right now no one is really improving. Alex Capano has done personal best sector 1. Let's see what happens. But he has been chased down by 2 very fast Australian cars, so he doesn't have much room to work with right now.
And a menacing GTR behind him.
Yeah, just look at the thing in the mirror mirror, and then you realize you need to move. There are two cars running GTRs, one from Chinese Taipei and one from Australia. I guess Australia has a special attachment to the Godzilla from the Belfast history.
I was going to say, some incredible results at the Bathurst 12 hour in the past. As we come now into the final 40 seconds of qualifying before these drivers have a slight break and get ready for 30 minutes of racing in the sprint race coming up.
Another driver who has a slight improvement is Amir Hasik. Personal best sector 1, a yellow sector 2, but let's see, can he just move up one place?
Yeah, especially when you're starting in that kind of mid-pack of the grid, it's going to be any, 2 or 3 positions are going to make a big difference. But Amir Hasik not able to go quicker there.
But then we see Moreno Platama improve slightly, one position ahead of his teammate, really. Not helping his case. So right now Indonesia's best in 6th and 7th.
All right, and there is the checkered flag for qualifying, and we have Muhammad Alif in pole position with Kyo Yim alongside him, Dylan Tan in 3rd place, and Tasbi in 4th. It's going to be a very exciting race coming up, so you're going to want to stay tuned for that.
Mia Rose has done a personal best sector 1. His sector 2 isn't the greatest, but it still could move him 1 or 2 places ahead, because right now he is kind of in the 2nd tier. Nakib Aslan in front is almost half a second clear of her time. Did we see a time drop off the board?
I believe we have, yeah.
Actually, that sometimes happen because people want to reset the connection before the race. So they can take the chance right now to rejoin the server to kind of refresh the connection a bit. That's a special trick, e-sport trick.
There you go. Something I didn't know. But
so Mia Rose has a tow from Alexi Capano.
Is Mia going to set a best sector 3 to maybe move her up a couple places? She does in fact set a personal best sector 3. But that hasn't really changed.
Yep, she finds around 210s, but that's not enough to touch the guys in front. So right now, I guess every car except Pratama has crossed the line. Yep.
All right, and Pratama is done as well. So there you go, guys. Make sure you stay tuned as we get things set up for the race. Just a reminder here, the round 2 of this online qualifier series will be going live on the 8th of November in 1 week's time for this Asia Pacific GT E-motorsport Championship 2023.
Actually, we're gonna do something about that right now.
Oh.
Yep.
Very exciting. Are we picking the next track?
Yep, you guessed it.
Ooh. All right. Let's see.
We gotta do it live on air. Usually we do it in a Discord chat.
All right, amazing. Let's do it live.
So we have 4 choices: Monza, Silverstone, Laguna Seca, and Catalunya. Wow.
All fantastic tracks to choose from.
Yeah, classic tracks. So what's going to be your pick?
I'm a big fan of Silverstone.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
But
Good
let's see.
racetrack and then good test of. Let's see.
Oh, is it going to be Catalunya?
No.
Getting close into the green.
That's it.
All right, it looks like we are heading to Laguna Seca for round 2 of the Online Qualifier Series, the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca in the USA.
Good old California.
Fantastic circuit with the corkscrew, the notorious corkscrew.
Yeah, but our focus right now is on this track.
Exactly. We're here in Mugello for round 1. All drivers are in the pits right now, getting ready, making some final adjustments, getting comfortable.
Yep, so we have 34 cars on this grid, all going to turn 1, side by side.
Yep.
Hopefully no one gets turned around.
That's going to be a big ask, I think, with such a tight grid. But as you see on the screen now, the race is going to be 30 minutes. It's going to be a standing start, and there are no tire warmers. So it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be very tricky to get this start absolutely nailed. But we've got some very, very top caliber esports drivers here on the grid.
We are hearing all the cars idling on the grid. It's going to be a standing start. It's going to be on cold tires. There is no traction control under 50 kph.
Yep, it's gonna be very interesting to see how these guys manage the starts as we all fly into turn 1 here at Mugello.
And we're watching the driver's cam, then 10 grabbing a drink, grabbing some water. The drivers chatting to the teammates, asking for tips, maybe possibly some teamwork, special formations. Among, you see Australians are side by side, the Indonesians are side by side, and then the 2 Singaporeans, 1 and 3rd. Anyone catch your eye during the qualifying session?
Yeah, I think, honestly, in P7 we've got Indika Milana, who, has shown glimpses of speed, but didn't quite put it all together when it really mattered. Obviously, Dylan Tan, they're in 3rd place. And Kyo Yim's done a very, very good job with his regular teammate Sky Lion, the Macau car, in the 2 Ferraris. I think they're going to be ones to watch as well.
I think in the turn 1, the advantage might be on the inside, but then turn 2 is a left turn. So if you can hang it around the outside on turn 1, it's going to be your turn.
That's going to be very exciting if we see any moves like that pulled off. I know we've seen some in F1. We've seen some very exciting moves there, and the track's
we also
slightly
see
banked.
work like moves like that didn't turn up. Correct. Right?
True.
Yeah.
That is very true. It's going to be a fine sort of juggling act, balancing act to see if you can pull that move off. If you do, you look like an absolute superstar, and if you don't, it could be quite costly.
Yep, it could cost you a drive. Red Bull. Well, so looking at all the cars on the great liveries, we have representation from Asian countries, Chinese-speaking countries, Indonesian, Malay, and then we also see all kinds of different cultures mixed on this grid.
Yeah, it's an absolutely fantastic mix of regions. We've got 34 drivers from 10 regions, and if you're just joining us, all these drivers qualified for this race. In hot lap qualifiers. So you've got the absolute best of the best of these regions, all competing for the top 12 spot in 3 rounds, who will that will dictate who gets to go to the grand finals in Hong Kong on the 17th of December for the live event. So
it's going to be really exciting because we got 12 drivers on exactly the same machinery, sponsored by our exclusive technical partner Camus, and it's going to be all drivers, all down to the drivers.
Exactly. The technical partner Camus with their top of the range steering wheels, the GT1 steering wheel, and the DDWB 15 Newton meter direct drive wheelbase, as well as the LC100 load cell pedals. So fantastic equipment. The sim racing market's been absolutely flying over the last couple of years with so much development from all the different manufacturers. Very, very exciting to see.
Yep, and we have no time to.
All right.
We have to go to the grid.
All right, here we go. 5 lights on for round 1 of this qualifying series, and lights out, and away we go here for round 1. Oh, a Leaf has had a very slow start there with Dylan Tan running into the back, and then there's a massive crash. A Leaf gets spun around there in on the straight. As we see a lot of other cars there being turned around, with Kyo Yim being pushed slightly wide there from Dylan Tan. The other Singaporean car of Tasby, wow, it's absolutely hectic start there. Couldn't quite see who got turned in the middle of the pack there. But
well, luckily the cars touched, but only one major casualty, I think. And then Dylan Tan is kind of right now in the middle of a pack trying to find his place, and then Kyo Yim has managed to emerge from this melee with almost 1 second lead. That's huge.
Yeah, Kyo Yim starting on that outside of the front row has managed to get away very cleanly. Unfortunately, we have Muhammad Alif, who's dropped down a long way now, facing the wrong way there down the straight, and is now in 33rd place.
He has made a bit of a slow start. Actually, I think Dylan touched him on the grid because he was starting quite slow, and then that became the whole situation where the car in the third row catch up with the car in the first row.
Exactly. Like we were saying before, there's no tire warmers on that first lap and no traction control until 50 kilometers an hour. So I'm guessing Alif had a bit of wheel spin. Dylan tried to get out of the way, but just clipped him slightly, which kind of set him off balance and ended up facing the wrong way. So it's a shame for Alif. Let's see if he can make his way back to the field a little bit. As we end the first lap, we have Kyo Yim with a 1.1 second lead over Tasby and Skyline in the 3rd place, with Dylan Tan just a 10th further back. As we look at Dylan Tan now, looking down the inside of Skyline, goes for the move. Is he going to make it stick? Hangs him around, hangs him out wide a little bit, but makes the move. Fantastic move into turn 1 there from the young 14-year-old Dylan Tan.
Yep. He's 14 years old, but he has the mindset of like a 15-year pro.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But we are keeping an eye on the leader, Kyo Yim, who's doing very well, and his teammate also Skyline from Macau in P4. Plenty nice hover points to start with. But we have Bukita and Burrs in 5th and 6th, just waiting for the chances.
Yeah, Bukita and Burrs, good start there to Aussie drivers in 5th and 6th place. So they've made up a couple positions there.
Well, we can see a slide, a bit of slide from Kyo in the fast corners. You don't want to do that because that kills your tire really fast.
Yeah, especially if you use up too much of your tires in that first part of the race, you're going to struggle towards the end of that. Of this 30-minute race. So as we ride on board now with Philippa Bukita, about 1.5 seconds back from that leading group, but Philip is very fast in her own right, so has a good chance if the lead group start battling for it to catch up to them.
And right now we already see a battle here, Ratmat versus Moreno Morera, and with Heilang falling like really closely behind. We have this whole gaggle of cars outside of top 10 that's trying for that point. Oh, then Heilang has spun off in the last corner. That's gotta be painful.
Yeah, unfortunately from Lyon has had a pretty good chance of sticking with that top group, but now falling down the order.
Because all you want to do right now is to fall into that rhythm, let the tire, let the brakes come into like working condition, and then try to follow as much as you can with the top 10 until the last laps. So Hela has to try harder to do that in the next race.
Yeah, well, Dylan Tan here is getting very close to fellow countryman Tasby in the front. Let's see what Dylan does here. Like you said, driving like a 15-year pro. He's got a good head on his shoulders. So let's see if he stays behind his teammate or goes for a move for the next lap.
Yep. In theory, they are teammates, but in real life, there's not much love lost between these two drivers because they are racing for their own teams as well. They all want that first win in the series to stamp their approval.
Exactly. Dylan Tan, they're driving for Legion Racers. One of my my good friend Melvin Moe running that team. So shout out to Melvin and Legion of Racers.
The same setting of the car for the last corner, and then Skyline is actually sticking with them really well.
Yeah, Skyline is really hanging on there. We'll get a good slipstream down the start-finish straight.
Give a prop to Skyline, who is racing out right now from Australia, and not with his best equipment actually. He has been like trying to race, stay active during his study, and he's doing a good job here.
Yeah, good performance from Sky. As you know, in esports and in sim racing, equipment can get so many varied equipment. As we see here, Chester Lamb down the inside at turn 1, going past Morella.
Nicely done, clean and all the way through in turn 1, so they can no come back at turn 2.
Exactly, nice and clean, and not a lot of time lost. It seems. As he's about 6/10 away from the guys in front. As we go on board with Leong, who had that moment running wide on the last corner, is currently in 21st place. They're very close to the drivers ahead. Leong has been fairly fast in that sort of top 15 pack. So ideally, he would like to get past this group of drivers who are battling pretty hard. So he could lose quite a lot of time if he gets stuck. But he's doing well now to kind of pick his moments.
Yep, the lingering machine against 3 cars really. 1 from Hong Kong, Casley, and then 2 from Philippines. We got +1. They got past Francis
there's a
Gonzalez.
Bit of contact there.
Yeah, a bit of contact, but nothing major. He just have to find his spot right now, because right now the track has been filled by 2 very wide cars in the front.
Exactly, just a little bit of a tap to say, hey friend, I'm here. Get a move on. Seems like he's really pushing to try and get ahead of some of these guys right now.
Yeah, looking back from Nakib Aslan's very colorful Malaysian flag. Really a whole gaggle of cars behind. We're getting a 5 to 6 car train with Mia Rose joining the fray, and also Kamal Ali in another.
We've got a battle for second place. You see the Dylan Tan and Tasby, they're swapping places. And it looks like Dylan's managed to get ahead at turn 1. And Sky Lai is still sticking very closely with him. But all that fighting means that Kyo Yim has now stretched his legs out with a 2.5 second lead. Doing very, very well there to hold that pace.
If you look at the bodywork of the beach, looks like his left door has seen a bit of a hit.
Yeah, there may have been a little bit of contact in turn 1 between the 2 Singaporean drivers, but they both still look okay. They're pushing hard to try and catch Kyo Yim, who's now stretched that lead even further to 2.7 seconds. So Kyo Yim doing a very, very good job there.
Kyo Yim is doing a solid low 44 lap times, really fast, really rapid. At the same time,
big moment there from Tasby, getting very loose there coming out of the corner, and so Sky Lai now going side by side, hanging it around the outside, but Tasby has that door firmly shut in his face.
When you have a slide like that, your rear tire is going to be hot for a few corners, and that's going to be a problem coming out of the last turn. I hope it doesn't become something more serious.
Yeah, let's see if Sky can set up the last corner to get a nice exit, get early on the gas, and maybe see if he can get that slipstream and now to move in turn 1.
He got a clean exit, and Skyline doesn't have quite the draft he wanted in the turn 1. So he might have to be waiting a bit, but Bokita is within a second in front of Duo in front, so watch out.
Exactly, if Sky Lai and Tasby keep fighting like this, could really bring the 2 Aussie drivers right up into the fight. As you see, the 2 Aussie drivers, even though they're very close, they're only half a second away from each other. They're not really battling too hard. As we go on board now
with Carsley
Carsley down the inside of the BMW in turn 1 with
Heilan. Is it Heilan?
Yeah, it is. Right behind, and Young gets through round the outside. And gets turned around
by Gonzalez. Oh, unfortunate.
Yeah, that was looking pretty feisty there for a few laps, and unfortunately it's ended up with Hyeon facing the wrong way. As we go on board now with a Leaf who's making his charge back from the front row of the grid. So now going around the outside of Mia Rose, getting slightly onto the grass there, but doing a great job getting past Mia Rose with Gonzalez right in front, who had that contact with Hyeon just before.
So Leaf still putting on a show even after the lap 1 incident. Trying to get back the points. I think he definitely planned to do it. He's still around 10, around 6 places off, but I think with this pace, there's definitely a chance.
Yeah, exactly. With 20 minutes to go, so 10 minutes down, 20 minutes to go. We have completed 5 laps of this race, so expect another 5 to 10 laps. Very exciting start here, and Jay, one thing I have to say is you know, I've done some, you know, a good amount of real racing. Oh, as we see a car off there in the gravel. But esports and especially sim racing, I find a very, very different sort of skill. It's something that requires extreme concentration, as we obviously don't have a lot of those senses. So these drivers are going to be really feeling that sort of mental fatigue going through to the second and later parts of the race. As we see here, Wong Siri and Morella going side by side into turn 1. Wong Siri, the lone tie driver, trying to hang it around the outside of turn 1. Does a fantastic job, gets a great exit there, so for the inside of the S's, and makes that move stick. Fantastic move there from the tie driver.
Yeah, it is. Got a clean run out of this corner and then left the two behind fight for themselves. That's the strategy you want. Indeed, for sim racing, the level of concentration and then the energy it takes from you is very serious, but a lot of these drivers are accustomed to like long endurance races. Sprint races is kind of a different animal because you have to be aggressive right at the start and you have to reach deep to fight for every position, and I think it kind of shows how adaptable you are to the condition and the car and the car around you.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen that fierce, intense energy right from the get-go, literally from the word go, and it's just been non-stop since. So let's see, as we're on board with Nakib Aslan here in the Malaysian entry, following very closely with the tie entry of Wong Siri.
So Nakib Aslan has cleared Moreno Morella and right now has a one-on-one fight with Wong Siri.
Alright, setting up the last corner very well as Wong Siri tries to kind of park it in the middle of the corner there to stop Aslan from getting that exit, but it looks good. He's in the slipstream. What's Wong Siri going to do here? He's going to take the inside with Nakib Aslan going around the outside, trying to do what Wong Siri did to Morella one lap before, and as Wong Siri there gets a slapper, big moment there. Is he going to be able to defend that as Aslan goes off the track but makes the move into the right-hander and makes that move stick, and Morella's back in the fight now, so we're going to have 3 wide here. No. But we that was unfortunate there between the Aussie driver and yeah, that was a big moment there as it went over the curb, got sideways, and yeah.
So right now supporting the leading Chinese Taipei driver. Oh, actually the leading Chinese Taipei driver is Han Yu Huang at 22, and then we have Gary Lin fighting with the lone Bangladeshi entry for Higa 4. For a lot of these guys, this is first time in this kind of like high tension sprint competition, and they're learning as they go, really.
Yeah, doing a very good job there. Like we mentioned in qualifying, a lot of this is going to be just staying out of trouble. Looking on the screens now, we've got Mohammed Tasbi in P3, who's setting fastest sector. He's got a purple sector 2 there, doing a 144.6, so setting in very fast laps. He's only about 8/10 away from Dylan Tan now. Dylan's still around 2.2 seconds away from Kyo Yim, who's still holding that lead. But let's see if Tasbi can stay on to Dylan, and if Dylan can catch up to Kyo Yim.
Kyo actually did quite a bad lap last lap, 45. He's only one in the top 5 doing 45, but I think that could just be a one-off error. His pace has been on point throughout the race so far, and I think he really wants it, because with Muhammad and Leaf in trouble, this is kind of his chance to grab this victory.
Yeah, so Kyo really trying to keep that gap. He's been doing a very good job, and maybe there was a bit of traffic on that last lap, back marker or something just caught him out a little bit.
Actually, we are looking at Dylan 10, and at Dylan, cars doesn't actually look that happy. A bit of hesitation and changing directions. Are we already seeing the tire degradation coming?
Yeah, with still 15 minutes to go, these guys have a decent, it's half of the race still to go. They need to be, have some of them use their tires too much in that early part of the race. Some of them still have some left. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this all unfolds.
On the chart is Russell Reyes on Moreno Pratama, Philippines representing and trying to get a top spot for their country. So right now, here's the long, I think this is a long Audi in the top 5, the top 10. Has a good run in turn 1. He chose the outside and then he chose the inside, a cutback.
Great move there from Russell Reyes as he goes into turn 1, into the lead, ahead of Pratama. And now going into the S's, Pratama's right on him, but he makes that move stick.
Yep,
and
but
now
the body,
he's got its eyes forward.
Yep, the body movement of Reyes' car looks very comfortable. It looks very controlled, and then very smooth, very flowing. So that's a good point. Maybe he has more pace in the pocket, and then he's gonna hunt down the 2 Australian cars in front.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we see Pratama's car moving around a little bit, but like you said, Reyes seems to have a very stable platform under him. So eyes forward to the big Godzilla of Luca Perez in front.
Luca Perez making that Godzilla dance, really. Usually, traditionally, the strain is on like straight line speed, but then on this like flowing track, he's making it work.
Yeah, doing a very good job there in P6, following Philippa Bakita in P5.
So right now we have the gap between P1 and P2 kind of staying stalemate, and then Skyline and Tabish just waiting for the chances.
You know something I realized that I said very early in the broadcast, and I'm going to repeat myself here before someone calls me out and says how much of an idiot I am. I called the load cell pedals nanometers, which isn't right, is it? It's newton meters. And that wouldn't be much of a load cell pedal if it was 100 nanometers. So yeah, just going to call myself out on that one.
Yep, that's 100 crazy low cell is a really serious, serious piece of kit. All the driver will have to get used to it when they reach the finals in Hong Kong. So we have Ron Siri under pressure from Kamal Ali. We didn't see much of Kamal Ali, but he's like coming up from the pack.
Exactly, as the Thai driver gets a pretty good run out of the last corner, but the Ferrari right behind Ali, just in the slipstream, doesn't really look close enough to make a move into turn 1. He might save that for further down the track as he dives. It's a massive dive on into turn 1. Wong Siri's going to hang it around the outside, but doesn't quite get the run this time around. He's going to make it on the inside for turn 2. It's going to be close.
It's close, but still it's quite clean between the 2 drivers, and they both give each other space. Meanwhile, Fahika 4 and Gary Lin is still fighting out in the back.
A lot of respect shown there between the Malaysian and Thai drivers as we are going into the last 11 minutes of this sprint race.
Oh, kind of wish this race was longer though.
I know, it's an absolutely fascinating to watch. I can't take my eyes off the screen. It's been so good to start. But yeah, unfortunately, we only have 10 minutes left, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of action all the way to the wire as we see Dylan Tan now with Tasby right behind it. Dylan Tan trying to break that toe, but Tasby's been very, very fast. He's about 1 or 2 tenths quicker every lap than Dylan. He's now closed the gap down to just over 2 tenths of a second. So this is going to be a fight to watch for the final few laps.
definitely we're seeing tire degradation as the top 5 are all doing 45s right now. So they have dropped about half a second of pace compared to what they were doing a few laps ago. And you're kind of seeing the clouds are getting like thicker on the horizon, so the temperature could be changing.
And Skyline is doing a very good job there, still in 4th place, just sticking with these guys, hoping that they're going to start fighting so that he might have a chance to sneak through.
But kind of right now, Dylan 10 is backing everyone out to the Aussies, and that is gonna be a problem for Skyline. He don't want to be watching both sides.
No, exactly. So let's see if Tasby can get close to the back of Dylan and maybe mount a move. I think Dylan might be struggling with tires a little bit, but Dylan did a very good job of the last lap of just keeping things in check with Tasby. So let's see.
So right now, there's really when you look at this kind of like high level battle, usually there isn't like much excess movement. But when the time is right, you'll see he make one good strike and then get away with it. So we're just waiting for all this to like blow up. Meanwhile, Muhammad Ali has got into the points.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali there in P15. So after that incident on the start-finish straight, right off the start, Ali's done a very good job to climb from the back of the grid, P33, P34 there, to come all the way back into contention with P15.
So with him has reached Nakib Aslan 1.5 seconds in front, and then Chesterland 3 seconds in front. Is 8 minutes enough for him to strike down his 2 drivers? Whoa, see a big slide coming out of the turn for Tashbik. Bokita is on the S's.
Yeah,
throughout the S's.
Bokita is smelling blood right now with these cars in front, doing a little bit of not going side by side, but just really kind of sliding around all over the place, giving each other a bit of pressure. So Bokita's just been buying her time, probably saving a bit of tires as well, and now is right up the back of Skyline, and is going to be very close within striking distance.
All this fighting is allowing Kyo Yim to stretch out his lead. He's now 3.1 seconds in front of Dylan 10. So with 7 minutes to go, it's all hits really. It depends on what the podium will be. Will Skyline join his friend on the podium, or will someone from this group make a huge mistake and wipe out the whole group?
Let's see. Maybe some of the Aussie drivers can sneak up on there. And one thing we do have in the commentary booth is a face cam of Kyo Yip, and Kyo looking very cool, calm, and collected there as we come here with 7 minutes to go. As we look at this battle between Tasby and Dylan Tan. Tasby very close now on this lap, looking to the outside. Dylan has the inside covered off, but can Tasby hold it around the outside as we go into turn 1? Side by side now. Tasby doing a great job of hanging around the outside. Is Dylan going to push him slightly wide? Ooh, they touch.
The 2 Singaporean drivers are fighting like they are not from the same country.
Skyline there fancied his chances, tried to stick the nose up the inside of the right-hander there. As we see Tasby trying another move, but Dylan has that one covered off as we go into the second sector here.
Dylan is quite conservative on entry and then trying to just stick his car in the middle in the apex and then get a better exit, trying to break away from this fight, but Tasby is looking fast.
Yeah, Tasby is looking very menacing right now, and now we have a 5-way battle for second place as we see the Aussies have caught right up. Dylan's just making that AMG G3 as wide as possible right now, really kind of stopping the car mid-corner and not allowing the guys behind to get any sort of run on him. So let's see if Tasby can set the last corner up and get a really good run to mount another challenge.
Right, because the nature of this kind of motorcycle tracks, you don't have like big braking areas, so cars have to kind of follow each other in a single profile until the brake attack spot reaches T1.
Yeah, exactly. There are no big overtaking spots apart from that really that first sector, and those changes of directions there in the first sector. So it's very much, not a very street circuit-like in that sense, where it is, like you said, single file, kind of bumper to bumper all the way around the second and third sectors. So let's see now. Tasby slightly further back on this lap. Everyone's still sort of following each other in everyone's slipstream, but no one able to really make a challenge on this lap.
Yeah,
Tasby gets close though.
Yeah, but it's kind of a half-hearted move because he put himself offline, but he doesn't actually have enough overlap. So right now, Skyline has closed it a bit again.
Yeah, exactly. Sky and Tasby both really just kind of testing out the lines, testing out to see where Dylan has a weakness. But as we've seen many times before, Dylan is an absolute machine when it comes to sim racing. The young 14-year-old.
Another veteran is Bokita, is right now just watching from the back seat in the house.
Yeah, exactly. Watching this race unfold with the Singaporeans, the two Singaporean drivers and the Macanese driver there in fourth place. So Bokita and Burrs doing, playing that country role, and just kind of, just in points paying positions right now, and just watching the race pan out in front of them.
I think also you're happy just sit there and then just wait for stuff to happen. Because this the first step in this platform, it would be good to finish 5th and 6th. Even better if there are 1 or 2 spots to pick up. But we are looking at Bokita. She is very calm. Her steering control is very smooth. She's not using the front tires a lot. Just hoping for the chance for something to happen.
Yeah, exactly. They're very, very nice driving from Bokita. Just really nice, cool, calm, collected, nice and smooth. No sort of any big inputs of the steering wheel. Nothing that's going to really set her off her rhythm.
And we're watching here as Leaf catch up with Aslan and also have catch up to Chester Lamb. So another big hitter. Leaf will definitely come back stronger in the race too. Get a huge haul of points. So every point right now matters for Chester. For drivers like Chester who need the luck to get into the top 12, he really needs this place and he really needs these points.
Yeah, Chester's doing a fantastic job there. But as we see with Aslan diving down the inside, a little bit of contact. As we see a Leaf there just going down the inside. Oh no, but Tasby, what has happened with Tasby? He's dropped down 2 positions there, is now, well actually more than that, sorry. 5 positions there, is now in P8. So was battling with Dylan Tan and Skyline, is now dropped down to P8, so.
Well, couldn't catch the action on camera, so it's gonna be something we reveal after the race. Unfortunately for Singapore, right now the lone driver in front, Dylan Tan, still in the attack though, still in the attack from a very hungry Skyline who wants to join his friend.
Exactly. Let's see if Sky can make it a 1-2 for that Hong Kong and Macau pair.
What a result for Hong Kong and Macau to be on top, in this kind of level of competition.
Exactly. This race, obviously, this series being hosted by the HKAA, so will be a nice home victory for QEM if we can keep it on the black stuff for another 1 minute and 50 seconds. He's looking very good right now, nice and relaxed.
Just about enough time for another lap. Not much.
But this has been an amazing battle for the first, really all the way down to P7 there with Pratama, and even Tasby obviously was in that race before, so there was really 8 positions there up for grabs. But now we've got really a 4, 5, 6 car battle for P2, but all very, very close. And Dylan there maybe struggling a little bit with tire wear, but has done a very good job to fend off the pack.
Yep, this is definitely not over. I guess we still have 2 laps, 1 or so laps after this, because Keel crossed the line with 1 minute and 50 seconds to spare, and he's still lapping at a rapid pace at 46. So, gotta be 1.5 lap for these guys.
Alright, everyone really just kind of settling in now a little bit, but let's see if Sky can. Obviously, with that big Mercedes punching a massive hole in the air out front there. So let's see if Sky can mount a challenge going into turn 1 on this next lap.
But Dylan has always been underdriving a bit, I guess. So he has the tires, he has the grip to defend, and at the same time he's backing up the pack so that Russell Reyes is now at the end of the pack.
Yeah, the Filipino driver Russell Reyes doing a fantastic job in the Audi to get up to this pack as we see a BMW there stopped on the side of the track.
Yep, not impeding the action at all. Very good driver. One last chance, maybe. This is gotta be the last turn one. So Kyo Yim has crossed the line. Oh, he lifted off enough to finish.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Kyo Yim backed off there enough to win that race. So there you go, a lap earlier than we anticipated. But here we have our winner. We've got Kyo Yim, who's done a fantastic job there to win that race in round one of this qualifier series, with Dylan Tan and Sky Lai finishing on the podium. In P4, we've got Philippa Bukita with Lucas Burrs in P5, Russell Reyes in P6, Moreno Pratama in P7, Mohamed Tasbi with that late race incident coming across the line in P8, Mohamed Jin Mazvi in P9, and rounding up the top 10, we've got Fadli Rahmat. So a fantastic race from all these drivers. And yeah, that was exciting.
Would you believe a Hong Kong home victory in round one? I guess Kyo wouldn't believe it.
Yeah, Kyo right now looking very happy on that on the driver cam. So doing a fantastic job there.
I think he's still chatting with his teammate while we wait for him for a post-race interview.
Yeah. So there you go, guys. That was round one of the Asia Pacific GT E-motorsport Championship of 2023. This was round one of the online qualifiers. Like we mentioned before, round two is coming up in just over, in exactly a week's time. Same time next week on the 8th of November as we head to Laguna Seca for the next race. So come back, join us for round two, and make sure you can catch more action there.
I'll try to catch Kyo and ask him to join us in the commentary booth.
Come on, Kyo. We want to chat. We want to chat after that amazing race. So yeah, if you guys joined late, may have missed some action in the early part of the race. As the lights went out, we had Muhammad Alif, who started in pole position alongside Kyo Yim. Unfortunately, getting a little bit of wheel spin. But yeah, that sent into the back of the grid early on. Alif made it back to P13, I believe, at the end of that race. But Kyo Yim staying out of trouble on that outside of the front row. And now has taken a dominant victory in qualifiers. Alright, it looks like we may have Kyo Yim coming on very shortly.
Yup, I made a call. I think it's coming in.
Alright.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Kyo Yim, congratulations on that victory here in round one of the online qualifiers. How was that race?
This is I think it's maybe some luck in the start.
Yeah.
Because just I saw that behind me have a big crash or something.
Yeah, you may not have seen it at the start, but alongside you was Muhammad Alif, and he got turned around on the straight. So yeah, you did a fantastic job to avoid that. How was it managing your tires through that race? You know, you had a very big lap, very strong gap, and it seemed like you were just very relaxed through the whole race.
Because I'm just saw that Delta to other car, I think is maybe they have many fight and just keep going. The gap just large. So I really think that is not have that many pressure on my side.
Yeah, no, it was very well controlled by you. Obviously, you know, home driver. This race sponsored or hosted by the HKAA. Would you like to say a few words in Cantonese, maybe, to some of your fans in Hong Kong?
OK，就多謝大家支持。
恭喜佩佩 Racing 啊，13咁嘅場啊！
係啦，都真係有起步嗰下係有啲運氣啦。
Okay, so we gotta let him go. Congratulations again. We'll see you again in next week.
Exactly.
Okay,
See
thank
you
you.
for round 2 in Laguna Seca. Congratulations, Kyo Yin.
Thank you, thank you. Bye bye.
All right, been intense 1 hour qualifying racing.
It has. I need to go and lie down now. That was very exciting.
I'm so glad I'm not racing. I'm watching.
Yeah, that was a fantastic race, and hope you guys all enjoyed it at home. Like you see on screen right now, come back, join us for round 2 of the Online Qualifier on the 8th of November, this time next week. Jay, it's been an absolute pleasure hosting it with you. Our shout out to our sponsor, our equipment partner for the series, Camus, in this Asia Pacific GTE Motorsport Championship. Jay?
So yeah, remember our next track is gonna be Laguna Seca, even tighter, even less margin for error, and a lot of diving in turn one.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be very exciting. So you guys are gonna want to stay tuned for that. All right, till next time, guys.
Bye bye.